I filled the prescription, and then within about, I would say, 2 days, 3 days, I knew something wasn't right. Like I couldn't feel emotions anymore. Like it wasn't just like I couldn't feel like I felt blunted like on other antidepressants. It's like I felt nothing. Like I couldn't feel sad. I couldn't cry. I couldn't feel happy. Like I couldn't feel anything all the time. And I was like, something is wrong. Something's happened, and like I would touch the skin on like my penis and I couldn't feel it. And I was like, this is so weird. I was like, I didn't experience this on other medication. Like maybe this is just a side effect of taking Cymbalta. So I just kept taking it, but eventually like I didn't sleep for like I even with withdrawal, I could still get a little bit of sleep. But when I started taking Cymbalta, I didn't sleep for like 5 days. Like I was just up
Mm.
for 5 days. And I was like, I can't take this medication anymore.
Today, you're going to hear from Cael, who was prescribed multiple antidepressants as a teenager. What started as a simple prescription for anxiety spiraled into years of polydrugging, Lexapro, Zoloft, Seroquel, Cymbalta, with no informed consent about the risks. Cael now lives with post-SSRI Sexual Dysfunction, or PSSD. He deals with permanent numbness, emotional blunting, and life-altering changes that no doctor warned him about. This is his story. Yeah, we kind of started with, what your life was like before you got PSSD. So you want to jump into it that way?
Yeah. So before PSSD, I was just, an average teenager. I was around 18, 19. This is a few years before PSSD. So I just finished high school, and this was during COVID, and I was still living with my family. And life was good. I had friends, social. I'd go on dates and have sexual relationships, and
Mm-hmm.
life was pretty good. Like I had mild anxiety, but um, I still had plenty of personality and was social, and I had a pretty good life. And
Yeah.
yeah, that was my life before PSSD.
So so when did you get prescribed an SSRI, and what was the reason for it?
Yeah, so I got prescribed an SSRI when I was just a little bit after moving out at 18, 19. It was called Lexapro. Um,
Mm.
I had so I had just moved out of my family home. I was living alone, and I was experiencing, just some anxiety with that, a little bit of panic attacks, and I thought I needed help because I was trying to work out and trying to like relieve that stress, but it just wasn't getting any better. And so I decided I wanted to meet with my doctor because my sister had been taking some medication, and I knew it helped her. I didn't know
Sure.
specifically what medication she took. I just knew it helped her. So I scheduled an appointment with my pediatrician, and then I went and met with him and talked with him a little bit about my anxiety issues. And he told me about Lexapro, and that it was an antidepressant, but it could help my anxiety,
Mm.
and that he would start me on 10 milligrams. And so I started on Lexapro, and then within a few weeks, well, he didn't tell me any side effects. That's the thing.
Okay.
Nothing on what to expect. And I just was kind of on my own dealing with it, just seeing if it would
Mm-hmm.
help my anxiety. It did initially help my anxiety. So like when I first
Okay.
started taking it, I did feel like it helped, and I was like, man, I'm so glad I took this medication, like it's helping so much, like within a day. I was like,
Yeah.
man, like this is great. But within a couple of weeks, I just started getting passive, like suicidal thoughts, like just out of nowhere. Like I was like, what is going on? Like I've never been suicidal, and I'm just getting these thoughts like, oh, I want to die for no reason. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
what is
Mm-hmm.
happening? Right? And so I just kept taking it, and like I just became more and more depressed. Like I couldn't function. Like I couldn't really take care of myself very well. And I was like, what is going on? Like I was just getting more and more depressed. And
Mm-hmm.
so eventually I was like, I need to meet with my doctor and see what's going on, right? So I texted my stepmom, and she talked to the doctor because she works with him. And then
Okay.
we scheduled an appointment, met with him again, and he was like, "You're experiencing severe depression. We need to up the dosage of Lexapro to 20 milligrams and add Effexor at 75 milligrams." I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll do that. We'll figure this out." And so I did that, and just things never got better. I started feeling worse, more suicidal, and just disconnected, as well as like sexual side effects, like
Okay.
just a little bit of erectile dysfunction, and just it took me longer to orgasm.
Okay.
And I was like, that's kind of weird, like what's going
Mhm.
on? And so I met with him again, told him those side effects, and he was like, yeah, that's common on antidepressants. They make it take longer to have an orgasm, and you can have other sexual side effects, and that's common. I was like, okay, he never told me that was
Yeah.
possible. And I was quite upset with him, but I was like, whatever, I guess for now it's okay. While I'm taking
Mhm.
this medication until I can get off it, I can deal with it.
Mhm.
So
Right.
then another year, I would say, passed, and I didn't meet with him again. Like I just kept taking the medication, and my friends eventually told me, they were like, "Cael, you're acting weird. Like something's different with you." So I kind of told them the gist of like medication and meeting with my doctor, and they were like, "You should not be on these medications." They were
Mhm.
like, "You should not be taking these meds. Like they're changing you." And I was like, "Yeah, I've noticed that too."
Yeah.
So I decided I wanted to stop them, so I just got off on cold turkey, and I didn't know anything about withdrawal or anything like that initially, and so um, I just stopped at cold turkey, and I felt fine. Like I still had like some suicidal thoughts, but for the most part, I felt somewhat okay. I felt irritated, like I knew somewhat withdrawal, like I felt just a little bit of like anger, and just like um, yeah, just a little bit of irritation. But a couple months went by, and just the same thing, just feeling irritated, like having a little bit of suicidal thoughts, and
Okay.
just
Just real quick,
anxiety.
man, just to clarify.
Yeah,
So
go
this
ahead.
is after you coming off Lexapro and Effexor, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Okay. Just wanted to clarify. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yep, 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 yep. So yeah, after coming off of Lexapro and Effexor, I was experiencing those effects, and um, I eventually decided that I needed to talk to somebody, because I told my dad and stepmom what I was experiencing, like the suicidal thoughts and all this stuff, and they're like you need to get help, like you need help. So that they tried to schedule me with a psychiatrist, and so I was like still kind of weary about doing that. So I decided to meet with a therapist before I did that. And I talked with the therapist, and she was like, you need a medication. Like you need something to help you, because it's obvious like you're experiencing depression. And like she was like, you need something. And so I was like, okay, we didn't really give therapy a go, but I guess I will try a medication to see if it'll help. So
Yeah.
I met with this psychiatrist, and he told me about Zoloft, and that it would help my anxiety. Like I just hadn't tried the right medication. So I started on Zoloft at 25 milligrams, and then he upped me to 50 after a couple of weeks, because he said that that's the therapeutic dose. And
Mhm.
again, I just felt suicidal, like every day. Every day I'd feel suicidal, like I wanted to die all the time. And I just was sick of feeling that way, like constantly. And like just the emotional blunting. It wasn't severe. Like I could still cry and be happy. It was just
Yeah.
reduced.
Okay. I
So,
get that.
but eventually, sorry.
No, I get that. That makes
Yeah, yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah. So eventually I just, was sick of feeling that way. And so I stopped it again, stopped it cold turkey, and I was fine for about a week or two. I felt really good, didn't have any more ideations. And I was like, this is the best I felt in a while. And then eventually one night I just had like this shock in my body that woke me up out of sleep. And then I couldn't sleep that night. And then it spiraled into like weeks and weeks, and then months of just getting 3 to 4 hours of sleep at night. And
Mhm.
I was just freaking out, just calling my mom, like panicking all the time because I couldn't sleep. And then I started figuring out, I was like, oh, I'm withdrawing from the medication. Like this is what withdrawal feels like.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I just couldn't take it anymore. So I went to an Instacare and met with a doctor.
Mhm.
and she told me about another antidepressant called Pristiq, and that she would prescribe it to me, and then kind of the same deal, start at this dose and then up yourself, and then
Mhm.
that I would start taking something called Seroquel, and so I filled the prescriptions and started taking them, and the same thing happened. Like I just felt disconnected, but I'd only taken it for about 2 weeks. I just had severe side effects. My hair started thinning. It would fill up the shower drain with hair, and I
Mhm.
just would feel groggy all day and disconnected. Like I could watch a whole movie and not remember what I watched, that kind of
Mhm.
a thing. And so I just decided to stop taking it because they told me to just keep upping I found out it was an antipsychotic like a little bit after I filled it, but they told me to just keep upping the dose of the antipsychotic until I felt better, like until I could sleep
Really?
enough. Yeah. So I
Wow.
started, I think, at 25 milligrams, and then I got up to 75. And then I was like, this isn't good, like I need to stop taking this. So
Yeah.
just stopped both of those cold turkey, and then I just couldn't sleep again for a couple months, and then I moved in with my dad and stepmom, um, and they tried to help me like be outside or like go for walks or like try to do stuff that's not medication, try to help me,
Mhm.
and
Right.
I just was still having tons of anxiety. Like I needed something, like I couldn't deal with these effects anymore, like the withdrawal still. And so they kind of convinced me to take a medication, as well as my mom, called Cymbalta. So I had taken a gene site test from my uncle, who's a nurse psychiatrist, and
Okay.
it said that Cymbalta was well tolerated, like it was in the green zone, so it would be a good medication to take. And so I remember I was so scared because I started like not trusting them because I was like, these medications, like this isn't helping me, like it wasn't
Yeah.
helping me, right? Like I've tried like 4 different antidepressants and none of them have helped. So,
Mhm.
but they were like, this tells us exactly like what your genes are, like what medication works best, so you don't have to do trial and error. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, why not? I'll try it out. So I filled the prescription, and then within about, I would say, 2 days, 3 days, I knew something wasn't right. Like I couldn't feel emotions anymore. Like it wasn't just
Mhm.
like I couldn't feel like I felt blunted like on other antidepressants. It's like I felt nothing. Like I couldn't feel
Mhm.
sad. I couldn't cry. I couldn't feel happy. Like I couldn't feel anything all the time. And I was
Mhm.
like, something is wrong. Something's happened, and like I would touch the skin on like my penis and I couldn't feel it. And I was like, this is
Mhm.
so weird. I was like, I didn't experience this on other medication. Like maybe this is just a
Right.
side effect of taking Cymbalta. So
Mhm.
I just kept taking it, but eventually, like I didn't sleep for like I even with withdrawal, I could still get a little bit of sleep. But when I started taking Cymbalta, I didn't sleep for like 5 days. Like I was just up
Mhm.
for 5 days. And I
Wow.
was like, I can't take this medication anymore. Like I took it for a couple weeks and stuff and tried to deal with it, but it was just making things so much worse. And I was like, these sexual side effects and the emotional like numbness, I just couldn't do it anymore. So
Mhm.
I stopped taking that medication. And then I was like, oh, things will change, things will just go back to how they were. Nah, like
Mhm.
things changed. Like my even a year later, like over a year and 4 months now later, like my genitals are still numb. Like I don't feel emotions. I just have like lots of side effects. And I figured out I had PSSD by just doing like online research about what I was experiencing, and then coming to
Mhm.
terms like I have this condition, and then I found out about PSSD network, and then reached out to some people, and so now I'm here. So,
Okay.
yep.
Man, that is, you got polydrugged
No,
essentially,
I
man. I
did.
mean, you
Yeah,
went
yeah, yeah.
from, I mean, it was what, Lexapro, Effexor,
hmm hmm
you had Zoloft, and then you had
Pristiq.
Seroquel, and then was there
Yep.
anything else?
Yeah, Pristiq and Seroquel, and then Cymbalta. So,
Over what course of time did you take all these? I mean, was it 2 years, a year?
I think 3 years, over 3 years.
And you received essentially zero informed consent, it sounds like, from your doctor, except when I think you took, was it, what was the one you took where you went back and said, "Hey, I'm dealing with sexual side effects,"
Oh
and then
yeah,
they finally said, "Oh yeah, now that could happen."
Lexapro and Effexor. Yeah, that's what he told
Okay,
me.
but they never told you that beforehand, huh?
No, they didn't tell me anything. Yeah,
That's wild, man.
yeah.
So let me ask you this, Cael. I mean, how has your family responded to this? Do they believe you?
So when I first got off Cymbalta within a couple of weeks, I told my dad and stepmom, I said like I told them flat out, I said my genitals are numb. I said like they're
Mm-hmm.
numb. I said something's happened. I was like something has happened, and they just dismissed me. They're like, Cael, do we need to put you in a facility? Like, do we need to put you in like a facility to help me? I was like, I was like, what is going on? Like I'm telling you, my genitals are numb. And they
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't hear what I had to say. And so I was like, whatever, I just won't talk to them about it. And then I told
Yeah.
my mom and stepdad, and they believed me. They were shocked
Okay.
about it, but they believed me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I told my
Yeah.
sister and my brother about it, and they believed me as well because I gave them a lot of like evidence and like documents and
Sure.
talked to them about it. But
Yeah.
there's just there's nothing they can do to help me. Um, but
Yeah.
at least they
Yeah.
they acknowledge, that I have this. So
Yeah, it's a delicate question, man, because I've talked to so many people whose parents don't believe them, their family doesn't believe them, and you just feel more isolated at that point. So I'm glad you at least have
yeah,
some support from, I think, your mom and your stepdad, you said.
yeah.
Um, and I'm assuming you've talked to doctors about this as well. And if you have they believed you? I mean, what's been their response?
So I have talked with some urologists. I tried to meet with a urologist near me at first, and I called their office and told them about the condition. And I said, like, can you talk to
Mhm.
the doctor and see if he's heard of this before? And they were
Yeah.
like, he's seen patients that have sexual issues from antidepressants before. And I was like,
Hmm.
no, this is something different. This is where I'm not taking medication and I still have sexual side effects from an
Right.
antidepressant. And
Right.
um, they were like, okay, we'll talk with the doctor. And then a couple weeks go by and I didn't hear anything. So I called them and then they talked to the doctor right then. And he told me like that he doesn't know what this is, what this condition is, and he's not sure how he would help me. So he wouldn't be willing to meet with me, is what they
He
told me.
he wouldn't even he wouldn't
No,
even meet with you.
no,
Really?
he wouldn't meet
Wow.
with me. Yeah. So I was like, okay. So then I started looking online and I found a urologist in New York City that I
Okay.
emailed them and they said he's heard of it before and he's met with
Hmm.
patients before with it and he'd be willing to talk with me. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
that's great. And it was kind of
Hmm.
expensive. It was like $300 or $400 to meet with him because it's like out of pocket. But I was willing to do it to like get a diagnosis and meet with him and see if he
Okay.
recommended me take anything. So I paid that, met with him, and he just right away was like not willing to really hear what I had to say. He was like, "What makes you so sure that you have this condition?" He was like, why do you think you have this? And I was like, well, like the criteria for the condition says this, like 3 months off medication, experience genital numbness, like emotional blunting, like all these side effects. And he was like, well, it sounds to me like you have high cholesterol or some type of sexually transmitted disease that's causing these conditions. And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, no, like this happened after taking medication. And so
And this was a guy who believed in PSSD. You said,
I,
right? Like he
I
was supposed to
guess
be a
I don't
special.
know. He wasn't like on like any of the websites like where they recommended him, but I emailed them and he
Okay.
said he's heard about it. So I was willing
Wow.
to meet with him, but I was dismissed. Like he was like, get some sexual testing done and just see like what comes up, if anything. He just
Completely
pretty much
dismissed.
dismissed me. Yeah. So then I was like, okay. I went to my hospital and I got the testing done. Everything came up as a negative. Like, so I was like, I knew it was a bunch of bullshit. So then I looked online on some research papers to try to find a urologist who knows about PSSD that isn't going to charge me like $1,000, to meet with them. Because a lot of the doctors in the US who meet with PSSD patients, they charge like outrageous fees.
Hmm.
So There's a urologist from the Netherlands. His name's Jacob Reisman, and he I emailed him and he was willing to meet with me. He's helped patients before with PSSD, or at least tried to help. And he could give me like an official diagnosis based on like the diagnostic criteria. So I emailed with them, set up an appointment, and then I talked with him, and he studied the condition, like he knows all about it. And I just kind of talked with him for a while, and he was like, "Yeah, you have all this, like all the symptoms of PSSD, like everything matches up." He's like, "I'm diagnosing you with PSSD."
Wow.
And then he recommended me take like some supplements to try to increase nitric oxide to help with like erections and that kind of a thing. But yeah, he was like the first doctor to like acknowledge, the condition and like willing to listen to what I had to say. So
At least you had some validation from that, you know?
oh, for sure, I did.
I mean,
Yeah.
that goes a long way for me. I don't have too many doctors that have validated me, but when I have, one occasionally that does, it's like, it's almost a sense of relief and, a little bit, not much, but I
Yeah,
feel a
yeah.
little
At
relief
least
from it.
somebody to listen to you. That's what I told him. I was like, thank you for at least listening to what I had to say, right? Like as a doctor with the patient, like you should at least hear the patient out on what they have to say, Like it's the least you
100%,
could
man.
do. So
100%, man. I mean, honestly, Kel, I quit going to doctors about a year ago because
mhm.
I just, they can't do anything for me. They can't help me. And, I get
Yeah.
dismissed by all of them. They all gaslight me. They don't want to attribute any of my issues to finasteride because that's where the other medication I took, obviously. But
hmm
I get it, man. It's crazy.
It
Um,
is.
but but going back to you real quick. So have you tried any type of, I don't know, diets or, you mentioned supplementation. Has anything helped over the past year and a half for you?
No, not really. I
Yeah.
I tried Cialis, and it helped erection for a little bit, but then it stopped helping. And then I would just
Yeah.
get like weird side effects, like acid reflux and like issues with my vision. And so I
Oh,
was like,
man.
this isn't worth taking. And then I did pay and have like some ketamine infusions done, and
Okay.
those hadn't done anything for me. Um, like yeah, they didn't really do anything. I had
Sure.
like a ketamine like induced like experience, like, but I didn't feel any better after. Like
Yeah.
what most people report is that they feel better after, and like I didn't.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but that's about it. I've tried like just like working out regularly, or I think I did try like what I don't really know. Nothing like super like for months and months, like a hardcore diet. But I tried to eat less
Right.
like processed stuff, like more like
Mhm.
whole foods, just in general.
Just
So
general healthy eating, right?
yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, nothing really that's helped like significantly, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how it is for a lot of people, man, including myself. I mean, I try to
Yeah.
eat, generally healthy for the most part, like you mentioned, whole foods.
hmm
I work out regularly. Nothing has really improved me. If anything, time is the only factor that seemed to has helped with improvements. But it's been three,
Yeah.
4 years, so it's wild, man.
Yeah.
No,
It's a waiting
Kale, I
game.
appreciate you opening up, man. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's just a waiting game to see if things change, Hopefully they do, but you can't predict the future. So,
Yeah, definitely, man. That's why I encourage people to, share their stories online and also to, donate to research too. I mean, I think those are the
hmm
two best things people can,
Oh, for
you know.
sure. I
So,
agree.
no, Kale, I appreciate you opening up, man. You have a hell of a story considering how many medications you were prescribed over the
Yeah,
course of
thank you.
several
Yeah.
years, man.
I was, yeah,
It's
like you
actually
said,
disgraceful if you
polydrugged.
ask me.
It's
Yeah,
what?
yeah, exactly. It's just disgraceful, you
Oh,
know.
yeah. Yeah, it is. And like for them not to be able to tie the side effects of what I was experiencing to the medication, Like obviously when I first started taking Lexapro, how he could not connect with like this is making him feel this way, like is beyond me, because it has black box warnings in regards to
Hmm.
those, and he just like
Yeah,
wouldn't acknowledge it. So it's just kind of disturbing to me to think about how many people went through what I went through, and then like they don't care, like they can't be held responsible, like it's just they get
right.
away with it, and then nothing ever changes.
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. I think it's interesting too. Your friends were noticing your behavioral changes. You said
Yeah.
that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
So even
Thankfully, they
people
said
around you.
something. So, um,
Yeah.
but I still
Had you
kind of did it
noticed
to
yourself?
myself, getting more and more medications. But
Yeah, man. But how are you supposed to know?
yeah, exactly.
You put your faith in the medical system. You think
Yeah.
doctors aren't going to steer you down a bad path. I mean, I get it. I really do. I put 100% of my faith into the medical system before I got post-SSRI syndrome.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't
Yeah.
think the doctors prescribed me something that was going to harm me.
No, for
Let
sure.
alone permanently.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah. Yeah.
if
Yeah.
I had known there was a risk of anything, I wouldn't have taken that drug.
Yeah. Me neither. I wouldn't have taken it if I had known.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
I hope you don't blame yourself, man, because I talk to a lot of people who do feel like, they put the blame on themselves. It's like you did nothing wrong here, man. You
yeah.
really didn't. So,
Yes and no. Like, I know it's not my fault, but I just I hope things change. But there's just so much money
of
to be
course.
made that I doubt they will want to make a change anytime soon. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
even kind of a little bit off topic, even for them to put, for the FDA to put black box warnings on antidepressants, it took 40
Yeah.
years and lawsuits from families for them to add those effects, like the suicidal, like black box warnings. It wasn't the FDA, like out of the good of their heart, adding those effects, like side effects. It was families suing them, and then they were forced to put those side effects on the medication.
It's amazing how much we have to advocate for even something
Yeah.
as small as that. It's
Hmm.
wild, dude.
Yeah.
I never would have thought it would have taken this much effort just to make a change like that. It's
No, for
crazy.
sure. But hopefully,
So,
change will come. And with PFS, like, haven't they, like I saw, like with the topical finasteride, they
yeah.
released warnings on that, right? With
Yeah,
the
which is
potential side
interesting. They're
effects.
starting to acknowledge, yeah, because it's not, FDA approved, and all these telehealth companies are selling topical finasteride. It seems like
Hmm.
they're acknowledging that there could be permanent side effects from topical, but they're not acknowledging that oral still has permanent side effects. It's really weird,
Interesting.
man.
Yeah, even though it's
Yeah,
the
just because
same
the oral is
medication.
FDA approved, it's the same
Same
medication. It's just
medication.
because, right? It doesn't make any sense to me. So,
No,
yeah,
that's
it's
ridiculous.
uh, it's an interesting situation, but yeah, Cael, before we hop off, man, do you have any closing statements or anything else you'd like to tell the audience?
Um, just like I've said this before, but like I'm not against medications. If you absolutely need a medication, like sure, like take a medication. But
Right.
like doctors need to at least give, as we talked about, like informed consent before you take a medication on the possible effects that somebody might experience. So I just
Yeah.
wish doctors would do more of that, like warning people about side effects with medications. So
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Well said, man. I think it's good to have that nuanced approach. I don't try to
yeah.
demonize medications, but I
Hmm.
want people to know what the risks are when they take it. And I want true informed consent for people who are considering taking these drugs. So
Oh,
I
for
think that was
sure.
really well said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well,
well,
thank you.
Cael,
Yeah.
yeah, appreciate you coming on the channel, man. Thank you
Yeah, of
so
course.
much.
Yeah, no problem.